Hello, my name is Morgan and I will be showing a tour of all of the houseplants in my collection and around my house. And I've just been having a beautiful morning at a nature sanctuary. But here is my houseplant tour. I hope you enjoy and have a lovely day. I have this little area in my living room and it just gets a south-facing window, so it gets fairly good light. In this little terrarium that's fairly new, I have a few cuttings of Aurelia and then Selaginea and then pothos, some variety of pothos. And it's being acclimated very well in there. So then I do have a cereus cactus. Pretty big. Another little dome terrarium of the Aurelia. These two propagation boxes that just have some pothos varieties and Hoya. And then here is more pothos that are doing well. I believe it's Snow Queen. I have three little terrariums that I'm still sort of working on with a Tradescantia Nanook, some more of this Selaginea, and another Tradescantia Nanook. Next to those, I have my Euphorbia here with a bird's nest in the back. And then I just have the Echeveria, variegated Echeveria. Seems to like being in this little glass closure. And then I have this terrarium with, yes, that is a doll's leg. Various types of Tradescantia here. A small cutting, I'm not sure what exactly that is. I believe philodendron rather than pothos. And then next to it, I just have a Peperomia Frost in this little glass dome that I have not opened. Roughly around Christmas time, because it is a Christmas decor themed. On this little mantle in our living room, I just have this adorable hand kind of stand, but that had a dome on top. Anyhow, it's amazing as a plant holder with this little guy. And over here, I did used to have air plants in there. Need to restock. Here's my snake plant. And along here is kind of just like a little shelf, floating shelf with a Scindapsus argyrius. As well as a very crispy and can't make up its mind if it's happy or sad. Obviously. It's very long though, and I just can't bring myself to cut it, even though I really know that it needs it. Down below here, I have a table with some Philodendron Brazil, getting light from this little plant grow light, as well as this small glass. Well, it's actually from the Dollar Tree, believe it or not. I just painted the pot black to kind of match with the rest of it, and this little guy in there. I'm not exactly sure on the name. And over here in this section, I just have a small Dracaena. Kind of takes up the right amount of space with the rest of the flow here. Also, here's my very first orchid. Dropped all of its leaves, but it's kept the sky for a while now. And then I have a sort of bookshelf and a shelf here with global green or emerald green pothos kind of trailing down. Came from outside of my greenhouse probably about a few months ago when it started to get warm, and it's doing very well. I have a propagation that has been a almost permanent propagation here in this jar inside of a pot with a cloche, or excuse me, with a tray of a donut. Snow Queen, very beautiful leaves. I don't know if it's a Snow Queen or Marble Queen, but these leaves are such beautiful shades of green to me. Seems to be doing well, even though it's getting only evening light. Very few plants in my kitchen as of right now, other than this Monstera Peru, and these textures on these leaves are seriously amazing, front and back, hanging up in this macrame. And I'm trying to get this little guy, philodendron heartleaf, to start trailing down here right by the kitchen. I have here also a anthurium type. That's just, you know, the kind that you see mostly in big box stores. I think that it looks really neat hanging up in this planter like that, how the leaves are just off to the side there. I do have another philodendron Brazil sort of growing up the wall here, coming down from this pot, and I repotted it into this. It was from a larger one. Had to kind of just redo all of the roots, but it is putting off another growth at the bottom. The leaves are curling up a bit, I'm not sure, but still growing fairly well. Here is my gorgeous grower, my mother plant of a lot of propagations I have, the Scindapsus argyrius, and these vines have had to been wrapped around the pot because they can just, if they are all totally unwind, I mean, probably close to about 10 feet long on the vines, and that is something that I just love to have in my collection. So here, sort of in the back laundry room, I have made this terrarium with, I absolutely love toy dinosaurs. It's just one of those things that I've grown up to love. It's doing very well in here. This is an experiment because I don't do well with ferns, but I just think they're super gorgeous, and their growth pattern is something I admire. With a little amethyst crystal in there. Gets the perfect amount of light. Yeah, I'm loving it. And then here in this little plastic cookie jar, I have some more just propagations, random ones. I think that's a Rhaphidophora Hai, and then this is a little succulent. In this bathtub, which I haven't fully planted out of its original pot, but just because it's doing so well, eventually I would like to transfer it into there. I have this euphorbia here, giving lots of tiny little babies. Right over, I have my very exciting bloom on this guy. And as you can see, there are so many blooms yet to have come out. Very, very excited and just impressed by the beautifulness of it. I have this little begonia here that's sort of on a heart insert. Loving life. Lets me know when she would like to water, keeps putting out brand new leaves. The quality of the leaves is just immaculate, very silver. And back here I have another sort of these plant ring lights, and this is my Cebu Blue Pothos growing up the moss pole. I don't do the best with these plants, so I'm really hoping this light, which seems to be working very well right here, but the light just makes the leaves look incredible. It gives that sheen that not a lot of other plants carry. Above there, in this windowsill, I have a pepper plant that I recently just painted black, gave it a little clear coat, and it grew very oddly, kind of broke off, and then decided, oh, there's a little spider. So it kind of looks like a little bonsai. But anyways, there is Pilea peperomoides. Coming down next to this shelf, I have my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. And on this shelf here, very top, have my philodendron micans trailing down. I have more of this succulent type here, still giving me some new growth there. This empty pot that I painted, because I do have a little Dalmatian. Yet another doll leg. I tend to find inspiration from going to Oddities and Curiosities Expo with my mom. So that's just kind of, you know, something fun and different with some plants in there, some pink photonias. I have a large philodendron subastatum that was from Ecuagenera with red leaves on the back, of course. Didn't do anything for months, and now it's finally giving me a new growth shoot right there. But 2 large leaves and a new growth point. Here I just have the Sansevieria, I believe Sansevieria, still, not sure. Starfish, and a cutting of Baltic Blue Pothos in there. It's a very cool glass with, looks like a lemon or a peach on the outside. And this little guy's on this heart stand that I really like. And down below I have this Anthurium frederickstallii. There's the name there with this little crystal. Doing all right. Some new leaves are starting to come out now. It's just getting a little stuck there. But the leaves, excuse me, are very strappy down, if that makes sense. Very elongated, sort of like a lot of the Anthurium platyphorium and other beautiful varieties. Some more nerve plant, the pink Photonia, in this beautiful pot here. Behind it are just 2 terrariums with a few, there's a Begonia rex cutting with, that was just a leaf, and it's already growing 2 new leaves on the bottom. And a Peperomia hope, I believe that's a philodendron mican cutting. And same for in here. I'm not exactly sure on that what stick. It was a propagation of some sort. And then I just have, that is an alligator tooth right here. And then just a metal cow skull and a dinosaur skeleton. And right here is just a cacti. I did have some lithops and they cracked open and did very well. And the next day it's like they all pretty much dried out, so I don't know. And on the very bottom shelf I have my philodendron jungle boogie. Doing very well for everything that she's been through. Here in my room, I do have just one plant, and it is the variegated peace lily, or the domino peace lily. One of my favorites. I got it on vacation. Here is my indoor greenhouse that I can walk into and do plant chores in for the most part. And here's my Boris. But yeah, so let's get started and see what we've got. Walking into my greenhouse on the right side, I have Anthurium fingers with a very, very gorgeous and adorable new leaf here. This is my Monstera adansonii on this trellis. The leaves are stunning. It really enjoys growing up this trellis here. There's a new growth point that came out from the soil right there. That's awesome. I have my philodendron my philodendron gloriosum. I don't even have a melanochrysum yet. Chunky root, or with the brand new leaf there. Here is my philodendron brantianum. It struggled for a hot minute, but it is starting to make a comeback. There wasn't any pest issues because I did my due diligence on making sure there were no pests, to make sure to get it out of my greenhouse as soon as possible, but there were no pests. I believe it's just humidity and watering. The watering schedule wasn't the best because I do provide a very good humidity range in here. Right now, because I have the greenhouse open, it's only at 76, but it can get all the way up to 80, 85. I've even seen 90% humidity. Insane. Behind the philodendron brantianum, I have Hoya curtisii. Got this for $7 at a grocery store. Also hanging, I have my Hoya lacunosa, which I think could use a little bit of water. Yeah, I think she's thirsty. I would really love to see Hoya blooms this year because I have really grown my collection with Hoya. Speaking of, I'll just go right above to the hanging plants that I have. Here is my Hoya Bertonier. Ooh. Keeps growing. And behind here is my Hoya pubicalis, maybe? Not exactly sure on the name, giving a huge runner. So I would like to actually maybe this not be a hanging plant anymore and just trellis it up so that the leaves can grow on this. Excuse my dog. He would like to go outside. And here on the bottom shelf to the right, my pink princess philodendron. Stunning pink leaves. Beautiful variegation and genes. My Hoya obtusifolia. No, I'm sorry, my Hoya obovata and terracotta. Working on some new leaves as well. Next to here is my Hoya, I'm getting names all mixed up. It's my Rhaphidophora dragon's tail. I am drawing a blank on the scientific name. Discursiva. Rhaphidophora discursiva. And here is my, I really am not sure because these leaves remind me of Glacier Pothos. And there's lots of white, so it changes. It could be, you think, Enjoy Pothos? It's just some leaves are so misleading, but very beautiful. Here's my philodendron Burl Marks. This one always loves to lean towards the light. Way more than a lot of other plants, and quickly as well, so I'm just gonna turn it around. Next to there is my Hoya maculata. New leaves. It gave me so much growth the last few months, and these runners that are coming up all the way through here, And then I had been lucky enough to get the inner variegated leaves, which has a different name to them as well. And it was unintentional that they were in this pot, but just very lucky. I believe this was maybe $10 at my favorite local nursery. Next to it on this little table is my philodendron silver sword. I love the way that it's growing upright and the leaves are just facing more up towards the light here. I prefer that way of growing. Working on a new leaf there. Can't wait for this plant to start maturing. Back behind this leaf is an anthurium, mystery anthurium that I grew from seed. And then I have this table sort of filled with a lot of smaller potted plants and cuttings. So here is my philodendron squamiferium with the super fuzzy petioles there. Here right in the middle I have my Scindapsus exotica that was in a terrarium. That's why the leaves look absolutely perfect, and it's adjusting pretty well, keeping it watered very good. An experimental trying to save, if anything, Pink Princess. The roots look really good, really white, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I should cut more off. I don't know. But I do have another cutting from the same old plant. Here was the mid cut, and there's a new leaf. Oh, I just broke that one off. That's sad. I just broke this one off. But this leaf is kind of growing in its place, so we'll see. This is how big it used to be. The variegation is kind of coming back there, just hopefully not as much as that one is. I did have a burrito's tail, donkey's tail, what am I saying? And this Hoya shepherdii. It's a tragic story. I think it's a goner. I have a pickle plant there, growing kind of sideways. A jar full of very rooted and stunning micans there. The aerial roots are really big in there as well. Here is more cuttings of Hoya lacunosa. Here's Hoya weyertii with some new leaves. Doing pretty good. And below is Hoya lacunosa splash. Coming over to this side of the greenhouse, I have philodendron camposportianum, that new leaf. Sorry, that's one of the original leaves, and then these are growing in sort of smaller. I did take that campo out. I'm gonna do some care on it. But here's a philodendron painted lady with some larger leaves at the bottom. Had a growth stunt a few times, but now the leaves are coming in. I just rotated it so it can get some light on this side. Here is a holiday cactus cutting. Philodendron goldii. I would love to have some variegated philodendron goldii. Probably very hard to find, but definitely a wish list plant. My Jose Buono. And here is my very lighted up Here's my Anthurium clarinervium. These leaves are just so tough and so strong, very forgiving. It's already giving new leaves, I believe. Working on it. But this is the newest leaf here. It's taken a while to harden off. Down below is a larger plant of the holiday cactus. Excuse my dog, he just sneezed. A large basket of Hoya Crimson Princess. Over here is a Scindapsus Truvii Moonlight. That's all that is really grown for me, is just that one small leaf. And then I have a small rooted cutting in soil, Scindapsus Exotica. And down below, if you forgive this mess here, it's just kind of like my plant supplies. This is a philodendron horsehead, or bipinifolium, maybe? Very large leaves. Getting light like crazy right now. Here's the newest leaf here, about to harden off. And then right over here, I believe the last plant in here, yes, is the philodendron Florida Green. Lots of beautiful, stunning leaves. The shape, amazing. I thought it might be nice to just kind of give a look around what I have growing outside as well. I have this cactus here, variegated, and this cute strawberry planter. And then I have some cantaloupe, tomato plants. I have basil, of course, dill, cilantro, apple mint, and this jalapeno pepper that is almost ready here. I'm experimenting growing tomatillo this year as well. I have a whole lot of pepper plants still yet to plant, and tomato. I also have zucchini there as well in this bucket. On my front porch, I have a jungle cactus here, the rickrack cactus, and a pothos cutting and a disco ball planter. And then I have this goldfish plant that is currently in bloom. My Sansevieria moonshine, used to be variegated bear's paw. This cactus here, sorry, succulent. This variegated Dracaena type. This struggling little guy, still pushing out some new growth though. And last but not least, for outside, I have my beautiful Hoya Crimson Queen. Doing fantastic. Look at that new leaf there. Loving life. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed the whole entire process, and just collecting and keeping houseplants and experimenting and just making friends. So yeah, thank you again, and